Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Emma Lefebvre and today we are going to be painting some of my traditional loose florals. I feel like it's been a little while since we've done a loose floral bouquet and I'm just feeling in the mood today. So that's what we're going to do. So let's jump right in. Okay, so today we are going to be painting a loose floral bouquet, and here I have my inspiration board on Pinterest. I just pinned tons of flowers and I think it's great to do and to have. So if you have a Pinterest account, I suggest you do that. It's just great to have something in front of you to look at color palettes, you know, formations of flowers, and that's what I'm going to be using today. So I'm kind of, you know, going towards this peachy blue vibe because, as we know, orange and blue are contrasting colors and they just hit really, really nicely with each other. So I feel like I might go for this kind of vibe today. I'm not gonna, you know, do the exact flowers, but just use this as an inspiration. And we should just have fun. So I'm gonna mix colors to start, just so I have what I need. Just wanna make sure you can see down here. Okay. So I'm painting in my Etchr Lab cold press watercolor sketchbook today. Actually, I'm gonna grab my little clip here because I find with a sketchbook, it's a lot easier to keep your paper flat when you have it nice and clipped down, or you can always tape your paper. I am using my Craftamo brushes, the bamboo brushes. I've gotten a bunch of messages saying that these are on back order, and they are on pre-sale for May. So if you're looking to buy them, I love them. I'm also working with that company and I think their brushes are great, but just so you know, they are on back order till May. So I will link it down below, but just kind of giving you a disclaimer there. Okay, so for peach, I just had some permanent rose in there and some cadmium yellow. And then for that dusty blue, I'm gonna grab, let's grab a little bit of ultramarine. And I'm just gonna throw it here. There's some green in there, so we'll have like a little tint of green to it. And then to make a flower dusty, although this is kind of dusty already, you can just grab like a tiny bit of orange or pink. Let's grab like the tiniest bit of orange. And that will just kind of mute the color. Okay, and then here I have green, which I'll be using as well. So I'm just gonna grab some more sap green. I think what I had in there already was perline green, which is a darker green. Might even grab a little bit of not cadmium yellow, lemon yellow. And I think we're good and we can just start painting. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by painting a peach rose. And I'm just gonna do some small circular squiggles. Okay, I have quite a bit of water on my brush. You don't want it dripping everywhere, but I want to have a decent amount. I'm just going to start doing these curves. And I'm leaving just a little bit of white space in between these curves. And some of the curves are touching, some of them are not. And I'm just going to start fluffing out some of these petals. I want them a little bit rounder and thicker as we move out. Okay, and I'm trying to keep my paper wet, my rose wet, because I want to have some color bleeds to some of the next flowers and leaves that I'm going to do. So I'm just going to grab a bit more color. So I'm going to grab some permanent rose, some cadmium yellow, tap it in there in the center. It's a bit more on the pinky side, but that's okay. Okay. You can always just throw it in there if you like. I'm gonna blend it out a bit. It's a bit more on the pinky side than I wanted. That's all right. Just gonna blend it out a bit more. I'm gonna grab a bit of yellow. Okay, And then I'm going to grab my dusty blue, and I'm thinking I'll do some kind of like small petaled flowers, kind of like it's a hydrangea, but I'm not actually like focusing too much on the shape of it. I'm just kind of doing nice loose blotches. Okay, I'm literally just plopping down my paintbrush and bringing it up. And I keep changing the value by just adding more water to my brush and then adding more paint. So you have some really light areas and some thicker areas, some darker areas. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna do another peachy kind of flower. I'm gonna grab a bit more pink, a bit more yellow, make it a bit darker in color. And I like when it bleeds in to each other. So you can see I'm touching the blue just slightly with my pink. I'm just doing, I don't even know what I'm doing, to be honest. What flower is this? No idea. Sorry, I feel like I'm not being helpful at all. I'm gonna grab some more color, more pink, more yellow. I'm just gonna tap it in, maybe at the edges, have some darker parts. I don't know. I might, since that's still wet, I might grab a bit more pigment too on the rose and just tap it in the center, like that. Okay, I'm gonna grab a bit more of that blue. I'm gonna do a few more of those little buds, not buds, but little tiny blotches of flowers. Actually, maybe we can make it kind of like a hydrangea. I have a blue hydrangea in my house and it's gorgeous. And then there's like these really light green centers almost. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of lemon yellow and just letting it bleed a bit. And it kind of looks like they're little hydrangeas or something. All right, let's do another rose here. I think we're gonna, just to make it a little bit more asymmetrical. You don't want it too symmetrical, like 1, 2, 3, 4. You kind of want to, I like either going in 3s or 5s. A bit more yellow. Grab a bit of blue. I feel like it's more pinky than peachy, but that's okay. Like that. Now I'm going to start plotting in some greens. So I'm just going to take that sap green I had and I'm going to start doing some leaves. And again, I like when my leaves touch the flowers and have that little bit of a color bleed. I want them a bit more limey. I want this to be a bright bouquet. And I'm just kind of putting it in between the flowers. So like here you can do it. And I'm really just being loose with it. I'm using the shape of my brush to create those leaves. Might be a bit too limey, but that's okay. I'm gonna grab a bit of this darker perline green. I'm gonna tap it in to some of those leaves to get a little bit of darkness in there. Just going over some of it because some of it is drying quicker than others, like just like little parts. That's okay though. Okay. Then I think we're gonna do more like bluish kind of leaves as well. So I kind of made this like bluish gray color. Kind of like a eucalyptus And I'm just really being loose with this, not thinking too much about that shape, making them a bit more rounded. I'm gonna grab a bit more color. That's a lot of blue, more sap green, so it's a bit darker. I'm just gonna throw it in there like that. Let's do another one here. Make some of them darker. Like that. Let's bring this color up here as well. Like that, and then balance it out over here maybe. Okay, then I think I'm gonna do some like little peach berries as well. Now, as you can see here, it's starting to pool in some areas. Some areas are starting to dry and some are still remaining wet. You're gonna get kind of like a separation in those leaves. What you can do if you don't like that look, I don't mind it. You can just go over the whole leaf with your wet brush and just kind of spread out that paint so it dries evenly. Okay, if you don't like that, but I mean, if you want it a bit more loose or whatever, you can do it however you like. All right, let's get some little berries going on in there. So I think I'm gonna do some coming down here. So I'm just gonna do little kind of circular bits. Maybe I'm gonna grab a bit more yellow. Oh, also I wanted to do the center of this one. Maybe that's like a little kind of peony flower. Who knows? Okay, you can touch a little bit of yellow to those little berries if you want. And I think I'm gonna do maybe just a couple more right here. Okay. Then I'm just gonna take my smaller brush. I'm gonna grab a bit of green and I'm gonna do a stem. I'm not gonna touch the berry yet. Okay, and kind of connect them like that, because I don't want them to bleed into the, oop, like that. That's okay. Don't want it to bleed into the berry right now. It's a bit too wet. You can always mop it up if that happens, like that. Okay, and I'm gonna take that light kind of limey green. I'm gonna do these little leaves at the bottom. Kind of pointing down like that. Just really loose. Then I'm gonna add just a couple more leaves coming off the stem of those berries, like that. Okay, and then I think I'm gonna do some of that, is it sea holly or thistle? I don't know, but it's like that dusty blue kind of filler. So I'm just gonna grab my ultramarine mixed with a bit of that, I think it was sap green, and I'm gonna do a light wash and make this kind of like circular cone shape almost, like that. Do another smaller one there. Okay, let's do one over here, but upside down. Get a bit lighter. Maybe another one over here. Okay. Then I'm gonna grab some more ultramarine, a little bit of darker green to make it a lot darker. And I'm gonna tap the bottom of it to kind of give it a bit of shadow. Just let it bleed. So while it's still wet, okay? So do this while it's still wet. Okay. And then we're gonna take indigo. Which one is my indigo? I think this is indigo. Maybe even Payne's Gray, which is pretty dark. I'm actually gonna grab an even smaller brush. So I have this size 0 brush. Whatever small brush you have is fine. And I'm just gonna do a little stem. We can do that with green after too. And I'm just gonna do these little flicks. Actually, I think it's with green. Let's do it with green. Yeah. I'm gonna grab some dark green. I'm just gonna do these kind of leaves. Really jagged. Mixing a bit of dark green with some sap green. Actually, let's grab a bit of sap green, make it lighter. And they're just these kind of jagged, spiky leaves that come off the bottom. And they can overlap some of the other flowers or leaves or whatever's next to it. You can do a little stem there. And then we're gonna wait a little bit to do some of the spiky bits on it. Should we wait? Yeah, let's wait to make it a bit more detailed. And now I'm just gonna fill it up with some darker leaves. So I'm just gonna grab this Pearlian Green, which is a nice dark color. I'm gonna grab some ultramarine to make it a bit more on the blue side. And anywhere I feel like it could use, you know, just a bit of darkness, some dark leaves and stuff, I'm just gonna add. Okay. And it just really helps with the contrast, having a nice dark shade with these lighter colors. Makes parts of it pop. You can do one in between. And I'm doing them quite small too. Wherever you feel you'd like to see them go. I watered this down a little bit to make it a bit lighter. And then I'm going to grab some more color and go right on the stem and the base of the leaves. And that kind of adds some fun textures to it. Okay, so you can go light. A light wash. And then grab your dark pigment, just drop it in there, like that. Okay, and then for our little berries here, I'm just gonna grab a bit of brown or black or whatever, and you're just gonna do a little, oopsie, a little dot at the top. Like that. If you wanna do like a dot in some of the middle of these like hydrangea looking ones, you can do that too. And if you want to do some other like fillers, some smaller ones, grab your small brush and do really thin stems. And you're just gonna dab your brush. Actually, I want a bigger brush. I'm gonna grab a size 1, whatever I have here. And just dab it to get some small leaves like that. And you can just do a little bit of filler. Again, it's just a difference in contrast and shape. So it's not all like big leaves. You're just changing it up. Actually, I'm gonna grab a bit of peach. You can do little peach buds on some of these if you want. Pop a little color. And then now that hopefully our thistle or our sea holly is dry, you can just grab a little bit more of that like dark blue and just kind of do some little tiny spiky lines coming off of it. And again, like this is just kind of like all about contrast. That's what I sometimes makes a really good piece is when you have contrast in colors. So we have our contrasting colors of our blue and our orange, our peach. We have contrast in value. So we have some really dark leaves and then we have some really light leaves. And then contrast like in color. So there's a different, or not color, sorry. And then a contrast in shape and size. Right? So you just kind of want to switch it up and just make it opposites. I feel it makes it look interesting, but it's totally up to you and your own preference. Like we have some details. We have some really loose parts. And I'm just doing these little spiky bits more so on one side, so it looks like they're shadowed. Like that. And there we go. There is our loose floral bouquet. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram for even more. Have a great day, guys. Bye.